Hey guys, welcome back to Bird Dog Gaming. Today I want to start a new series. Maybe we'll call it the Publisher Spotlight series or something. I'm not really sure. I have a great idea where we're going to look at all the video games from a specific publisher. We're going to look at the ones that I think are rare or the ones that I think you should be on the lookout for. This is something I've talked about a lot over the last few years. Ever since I started doing my Game Boy Advance research, I started to really connect the dots and see, like, when you see a lot of games from one publisher that are rare, that's not a coincidence. You know, it's gonna have to do with probably how much they were willing to print of their games, like how many copies. You know, a big example is Atlus. Everybody knows Atlus is this company that was known to have a ton of low print games, definitely in the 90s, and it continued a little bit into the 2000s, and because of the low print runs, they turned into, you know, sought after collector's items. But Atlus isn't the only company like that. You know, you might be familiar with Xseed. They had some uncommon games on the Wii for sure. I want to talk about some weird publishers that were kind of around in the 90s and 2000s that may not even exist anymore, and the perfect one to start with, I think, is Conspiracy Entertainment. What we're going to do is look at this company. I'm going to give you a brief overview of this company, when they were founded, and what consoles they released games for. I've searched every game up on eBay. They have like 60 to 70 games that they've published in America. We're only doing American games today. This company has a handful that are already known to be kind of rare or sought after, and because of that, their value is already spiked. Like, I found one that I'm going to show you guys that nobody even knows about, I guess, because you can go buy it right now for $25, and there's like 2 listings. So I'll show you that one towards the end of the video. That one was kind of crazy. I'm definitely going to be buying a copy of that for my own collection. You know, this is the YouTube channel for rare games. This is not sort by price charting and go to highest. This is the channel that you guys know me for, where we're going to talk about rare video games, not just expensive video games. And I love to research this stuff. I love to look at games that haven't been researched, and we're going to do exactly that today. We're going to look at the unresearched games that are forgotten about. This is how we do collecting around here. We love to look at the rare games, the actually rare video games. So, brief overview. Conspiracy Entertainment was founded in 97. They would go defunct around 2011, maybe 2013. They had a bunch of games published for the Game Boy Color, the couple on the Dreamcast. They did a ton on GBA, GameCube, DS, Wii, PS1, PS2, PSP, PS3, Xbox 360. I even found one on PC that we'll talk about. They had a pretty good relationship with TreasureSoft, which I think is very notable because Treasure is this beloved company. Everybody loves Treasure as a developer, and Conspiracy had a good relationship with them, to like a good enough relationship where they published a few of their games, and they were planning to publish more, but the games got canceled. I don't think we're going to talk about them, but there was a Tiny Toon Adventures game that was going to be released on the GameCube. I think it was called Save the Universe or something, and it got canceled. I bet that would have probably been a very good 3D platformer that a lot of people, it probably would have had a cult following, because I'm pretty sure Treasure developed Wario World, which was another 3D platformer that has certainly gotten a cult following. Let's take it with the Dreamcast. I have a tab open for all the games that we're going to talk about today. I've already done the legwork of searching for these games. We're going to start with Bangai-O, and we're going to go through over 60 games today, so strap in. I don't know how long this video is about to be. Bangai-O, very well-known game, I think. It is a shmup on the Dreamcast that actually released here in America. And because of that, and because it was developed by Treasure, and because it has a freaking mech on the cover, like, that whole combination of things is going to get you an expensive video game. Alright, people love the Dreamcast, people love shmups, people love mechs. This is a game with like a Japanese cover art. It is absolutely well known, and that's the first one we're going to talk about today. Released in 2001, it was a port of an N64 game. Yeah, and it was developed by Treasure. So I'm going to talk about this frame in a minute here, but this frame also has another one on the Dreamcast published by Conspiracy Entertainment here, that is Record of Lados War. This game, also kind of pricey. I mean, it's an RPG. It's based on an anime. I don't know what more you could ask for here. Like, this is actually probably worth being on the shelf. I have no idea if it's a good game. I don't know anything about it, but that combination of those two things will get you an expensive game for sure. So interestingly enough, it has Crave Entertainment on there as well. I don't think Crave develops games, so yeah, these are probably the developers right here on this left side. But I guess this one was published by 2 companies. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Let's keep going here. We're going to move into the Game Boy Color. Now, here on the Game Boy Color, we have The Land Before Time. It's going to be the first one we talk about. This one came out in 2001. It is not super rare, but not super common. Alright, so here we have another framed copy of this game. And I'm going to go ahead and just talk about it right now. But this is a quick aside, I suppose. I had to message this guy, Treasure Hunter, because I was like, what the heck is going on? I looked at his profile and I was like, oh, maybe he just frames every game. He just buys games and frames them. That's what he does. No, he literally only has Conspiracy Entertainment games framed. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, the only reason I would have even noticed this is because I'm doing the research for this video. And I was like, I gotta message this guy. Turns out I was like, did you like buy stuff from an old like conspiracy employee, or what's the deal here? He's like, no, I actually just bought, like, we buy storage units and sell the stuff inside. So I'm thinking that there was like this storage unit must have belonged to some ex-Conspiracy Entertainment worker is my guess, because these are like nice shadow boxes of like very clean copies of these games with the manual and the game and the box, and you'll see more for the next few games that we go through. It's kind of funny, just a weird coincidence that happened. But anyways, The Land Before Time, 2001. These are coming from the United States, but also like European countries, and these like this one's from Germany, and it is a North American copy. But as you can see, not the rarest game, not the most common game. We can count them real quick. 1, 2. I guess we'll count the framed one. 3. That's American. 4, 5. There's like 5, less than 10 copies for sure. CIB. So I don't know. That's an interesting one that you can keep an eye out for. It's not super cheap for whatever reason. $375 for a sealed copy. $400 for a used copy. Oh no, that one's sealed. The framed one is the cheapest, I guess. No, not quite. We've got no manual here. Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at like $200 or $300 for this game, which you've probably never even heard of, right? It's just The Land Before Time, some random GBC licensed title. I think that's interesting. Moving on to another GBC licensed title, we've got Buster Saves the Day. This is our first of many Tiny Toon Adventures games here. So you got a sealed copy here for $190, a complete copy for $200, and you have a framed copy for $225. You've got a WATA graded copy, CGC graded copy for $150, and that's it. I don't know why, but there's one loose copy of this game, because this one's European. So this one actually seems kind of scarce. We'll take a quick peek at the sold listings here. We've got none. I mean, I'm wondering if my save search was wrong here. Let me just try real quick. Tiny Toons. Oh, maybe it's because it's supposed to be Tiny Toon. I bet I messed up the search there. Tiny Toon Adventures. Yeah, so there are a few more loose copies listed. But either way, this one's pretty scarce. Not the most common of the games that we've looked at so far. That's Tiny Toon Adventures, and we'll be looking at some more Tiny Toon games, and I think we have another one immediately. No, we have Tom and Jerry. There's another framed one. We've got Mouse Hunt. So we'll count the framed one as 1, and how many listings? 16 is what it says. So we've got a handful of loose copies here. There's a sealed one for $1,500, and I guess that's it. Like, not a ton of copies. Let's look at sold real quick. No CIB copies in sold listings. I think that's one that you should keep an eye out for. We've got Tom and Jerry Mouse Hunt here. I think that is just a random one where the cartridge is $10 and the CIB is nowhere to be found. Like if you needed it right now, you could, you know, break in case of emergency with this glass frame here. This is a fully complete copy for $225. Moving on, this one is, and I actually have it sitting right next to me. We got Puzzled here. A nice little CIB copy with the shrink wrap still on it. This is an interesting one. I mean, it is a puzzle game as you would expect. I don't think anybody is buying this to play it in the great year of 2025. I got this because it was like $13 at my local store, I think, and it was, I don't know, a good deal. Like, here we have a European copy. It doesn't really matter. These are like not super cheap for whatever reason. Like all of them are listed at $100 roughly, and it's not, you know, there's a handful available. Let's see how many this guy has listed. He only has one copy. There's like, I don't know, this is like readily available, I feel like, but the demand is low. So maybe if like more than 4 people cared about this on the planet, then maybe it would become a little bit more scarce. You can literally get a CGC 9.2 A+ for $140. $45 though. Oh no, that's a European copy. Like it's kind of expensive. I don't know who's buying it. We can check solds real quick. One sold, box only for $30 shipped. See, I don't know. There's really low demand for this. That one's just kind of a weird one. I think it's worth keeping an eye out for if you can get it for a decent price. This one I like a lot. Obviously based on the old cartoon. American Tail Fievel's Gold Rush. This one is pretty expensive. We're on to the Game Boy Advance now. Fievel's Gold Rush is $30 if you don't mind having a chunk taken out of the corner, but otherwise it is pretty expensive, pretty uncommon game. $165 from Canada. We've got $90 right here. And let's see, $205 from the UK, sealed, and there's that Netherlands one that has the chunk taken out of it, and then just a bunch of European copies. So not super common. We can check solds. What are they selling for? That's it. Just loose copies selling for like $10. I think a lot of people knew about that one already. Obviously, that's why the price is the way it is, but probably not as expensive as it should be, right? Because you can get a sealed copy for $165, and it's like nice sharp corners and edges. Like, I don't know. This is a very uncommon game. People don't value rarity the way that they maybe should, or, you know, who cares about rarity? Let's just leave it for the guys who watch the Bird Dog Gaming YouTube channel. This one I like a lot. I also have this one here. This is the Flintstones. I actually played through this. Not an excellent game. It was pretty average, pretty mediocre platformer. And once again, we have a framed copy here. This one used to be, question mark, more uncommon, but like right now there's a lot listed. I think at one point there were like several, like somebody just had a new old stock listing of these in Europe of North American copies, which was strange. I don't know where Conspiracy Entertainment is based out of. Do I still have that tab pulled up? Does it say where they were? They're from California, so I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe they had some kind of factory over in Europe where they would publish their games or something, but they seem to have a lot of copies over there in Europe, even though they're the North American versions. Yeah, this one you should keep an eye out for. It is expensive. This one right here is ending in 3 days. I don't know when this video is going out, but this is a sealed copy, $36. Who knows what it's going to end at? Probably, I don't know. I don't know what the demand is. It's probably not that high. Look at this. Sealed copy sold for $30 plus shipping like a week ago. So it's anybody's game out here. $50 for a CIB. $23. Oh, that's loose copy. Yeah. That's what's going on with the Flintstones. For some reason, all the Flintstones games, except for like the bowling one on PS1, super expensive games. All of them, from NES to modern day. Like, they just are all expensive or uncommon or both, and I think it's very fascinating. I want to do some kind of Hanna-Barbera video one day and talk about the video games that are expensive from Hanna-Barbera. Moving on to Gadget Racers. If you're not familiar, this is a part of the KoroQ series. This one came out in 2001, and I saw this funny picture somebody posted on Reddit, like explaining this game and the other KoroQ game we're going to talk about. There's like, you see this Gadget Racers from Europe. This is a completely different video game than Gadget Racers on Game Boy Advance in America. They called them the same title. They're completely different games. And then like it's called something totally different in Japan. There's like it's kind of insane. It's very convoluted. Anyways, Gadget Racers, kind of pricey. I've heard that these are good racing games. This whole series is pretty good if you're interested in playing your video games. We have a loose copy for $12. We have one CIB right here for $95, $96, and that's it. You got a couple of loose copies and one CIB. I actually bought this one sealed, I think on Amazon. It was new old stock. Maybe it's still there. I want to say Deal Tavern had it for a long time. So, you know, maybe check Amazon for this one, see if the sealed copies are still available from Deal Tavern. Last one sold a few yesterday, actually, for $50. Moving along. We've got another Land Before Time game. So there's two Land Before Times on the GBA. This one is the Land Before Time Collection. The other one is just called, I think it's called the Land Before Time Mystery Beyond or something, Mysterious Beyond. That one's pretty cheap from what I remember. It doesn't really matter. We're talking about conspiracy games here. $40. You get yourself a CIB copy if you're some kind of Land Before Time super fan. I don't know why this is called Collection. I think it's like, I think it's funny that they called it Collection because it's not like, I don't know. Let's take a look at the back real quick. I don't think there's like multiple games on here. I think it's a collection of the movies or something. Like, I don't understand where the heck they came up with this. It doesn't say anything about it being a collection. It doesn't say anything about it having multiple games in it. I think that's really funny. But this one came out in 2002, so like, you know, several months to a year after the GBC one that we looked at. I don't know. Conspiracy Entertainment probably just had low print runs. I think that's why a lot of their GBA stuff is pretty uncommon. And this is why I wanted to start with this company. This is one of the ones where I've noticed that they just have a lot of uncommon titles on their discography, so to speak, on their list of games published. I don't know. There's quite a few of these available. It looks like you can get it for a reasonable price if you are interested. We're gonna move on to Road Trip. This is another KoroQ game, part of the KoroQ series that they just totally changed the name for America and Europe. This one also got a GameCube release. It's probably a completely different game. It has to be. And then there's also one on PS2, which we'll get to. I don't know. I don't know what they were doing with this Road Trip branding here. I don't know if KoroQ just wasn't good enough for America, like it wasn't gonna sell any copies in America. But anyways, there's one for 120, there's one for 200 sealed, and that's it for this particular game. Not a ton of listings. Let's check solds. We've got 0 in the solds, so probably super low demand, but also pretty pricey. It's known about for sure. And then we move on to Wacky Stackers from 2001. This one is another Tiny Toon game. This one's pretty common. Look at this. Like literally, we've got a ton of CIB and sealed listings right here. If you want this game, it is readily available. Probably new old stock. I feel like I've seen this one a lot. And I'm guessing it is probably just a match 3 game. Yeah, it's like some kind of Tetris match 3 type of game. I'm sure it's got its little gimmicks, but it is nothing special. I like the box art though. It's very colorful, and you know, everybody loves some Tiny Toon adventures. I think we all grew up with a little bit of Tiny Toon. And then here's the real big one that maybe you know about, maybe you don't. This game released in Europe in 2002. and it was called Buster's Bad Dreams. Buster is the Tiny Toon main character there, and he was having some bad dreams, and they decided to make a scary platformer out of it. But here's the thing, this game may or may not have ever released in America. Wikipedia, which doesn't even talk about like collectible stuff at all, they mentioned on their page, you know, whoever made the Wikipedia article or whatever, like, they mentioned that the game came out in 2002, but copies didn't start popping up in the wild until 2005. Now, I don't know how true that is. I wasn't there for it. This one is developed by Treasure, so it has that cult following going for it because people just love Treasure Soft. But this is... Oh, I don't even think this is a platform. It looks like a fighting game. This is one of the top 5, maybe top 10 rarest Game Boy Advance games, hands down. And it's obviously it's well known, but it's not like Ninja 5.0 well known. Like, people don't talk about freaking Scary Dreams, and I think that this one is probably one of the coolest ones you could own because it has this weird history where it might not have ever released. I think that's really fascinating. But who knows? Who knows what the real history is of this game? I would have loved for that framed eBay seller to be the one who like used to work at Conspiracy, because I would have loved to like pick his brain a little bit and see if he had any idea why this game was as scarce as it is. It looks like we have a sold sealed copy for $350, which seems like an absolute steal. And then there was this June 25th, so a week ago, there was a WATA 9.6A++ sold for $1,500. Who knows if it actually sold or if the buyer didn't pay. That is pretty insane, because we were just talking about how rare games don't really get the love that they deserve. So I think that's fascinating. This one's pretty freaking expensive as well. This one is published by Conspiracy. We've got $70 here. Missing manual, but you know, a CIB copy is going to cost you $150, $200 easily. I guess $130 right there, not bad. And then a couple more, we have one more. We have Road Trip on the GameCube, like I said, part of the Koro Q series. $28. Man, this one was weird for me. I had a loose copy for like forever, and I finally was able to get a manual and a case for it. But that took like years when I should have just bought a CIB copy. But yeah, this one, I don't know. It says there's a good amount of listings. Let me get rid of the nonsense that eBay likes to throw in. So it says 37 listings. There's probably close to 20. I'm not going to sit here and count them, but there's something about Road Trip. I think this one is worth adding to your shelf if you can find it for a good price, and it looks like 40 is kind of the going rate right now if you include shipping and everything. Not bad for Road Trip. Anyways, let me take us back over to where we were. Alright, onto the DS. We have Panzer Tactics. This game is not just a regular $5 to $10 shovelware, but maybe a $15 to $20 piece of shovelware. I don't know anything about this game. It's got a tank on the cover. It looks pretty shovelware-y to me. Maybe it's great. I don't know. It is published by Conspiracy Entertainment, and I would, this one might have potential. There's like maybe 15, 20 listings of this bad boy. You might keep an eye out for that one. But let's move on to our next one. Power Play Tool is very cheap and very common. Nothing to see here as far as I'm concerned. It's just Pool on the DS. I imagine, like, even if this game was rare, we wouldn't know it because there's just not enough demand for people to scoop it up, right? Like, if there were only 20 copies of this game in the whole world, there's only 20 copies listed on eBay, and like there aren't even 10 people that want a random billiards game on the DS. So I don't know. I'm being a little dramatic, but my point is that like low demand is not going to push up the price for this, and so we might not ever see it reach its full potential, if there was any potential for this game to have. I'm seeing Kokoto on the DS, which I did not add to our list. I definitely am missing probably 5 games or so from their list of games, just because it was a lot. Like I said, it was a lot to research. But Kokoto on the DS, we can quickly check that one out. I'm pretty sure there's nothing to see there. There are multiple Kokoto games on the Wii, which I did include on our list. So you got Kart Racer, brand new, 16 bucks. We got, is that it? Is it just Kart Racer? Looks to be just Kart Racer. Actually, why am I not seeing... Oh wait, we have Kart Racer and Kokoto Racers? What's going on here? Oh no, that was just a stock photo before they changed the name. Let's do a real search here, because it seems like this one might not be as common as I thought. So we have a sealed copy. How many listings you got? Just one. We got a CIB. Yeah, nothing crazy here. Nothing to see here with Kokoto Kart Racer. So we're good there. Let's move on. We got Vampires and Witches. Witches and Vampires, sorry. The Secrets of Ashbury. Very common, very cheap, nothing crazy here. It's got some pretty bad cover art and not something you need on your shelf. Here's what I've noticed. The Wii and DS era for Conspiracy Entertainment, they were like pumping out copies of everything. They did not care. They were just like, yeah, I'm gonna use all the printing capabilities on the Wii and DS era, and we're gonna sell these bad boys. And they probably didn't. Moving on, we've got Virtual Villagers, A New Home. Very common, very cheap. Nothing crazy going on here. I probably won't spend too much time on the Wii and DS titles because they do seem to be pretty common. I don't know, let's count this up real quick. We got a sealed copy. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16... So probably about 16, 17 copies there. Yeah, I think this one is looking pretty common. Again, low demand, probably hard to tell. If 5 people wanted this game, the price might start to go up, but 5 people don't want this game. Let's move on to a very cool one. This game released in 2011 on the Nintendo DS, and not just any 2011. This game released in May of 2011 when the 3DS was coming out 2 months prior. So the 3DS was out, and Emily the Strangeress comes out. This game, I have no idea what the gameplay is like. We can take a quick peek at the back of the cover art here. Maybe a better listing. Very expensive, and it seems like it's worth it. You know, typically low print games are kind of expensive. That's just how it goes. Experience a twisted adventure with movie-like cutscenes and solve more than 60 puzzles. I don't know. Could be interesting. Regardless, what does that say? Try Synergy. Maybe another double published game out here. But not a ton of copies, and people know about it. So it's already, you know, maybe 5 years ago you would have been able to find this one cheap. Or like under the radar, people might not have known about it, but it is looking like there's maybe 20 copies or less, and they are all 100 plus for a CIB copy. Moving on, we're gonna go through these because these are trash. We've got Think Logic. I don't know, there's like some series. I think this is part of a series of games. Why is there only a few copies of Think Logic? What's going on here? I was about to tell y'all this is a trash game you don't need to worry about, but I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sealed listings. Logic Trainer, not a ton of copies. Okay. Huh. Do I need to try a different search? Let's give it a quick shot live on the not live air here. Think Smart is not what we're looking for. Think Learn Have Fun is not what we're looking for. Yeah, maybe this is a good one. Maybe we just found one live while I'm recording 33 minutes in here. Think Logic, you've got a sealed copy for 50 bucks. You got 20 bucks for CIB, 25, 27 plus shipping. I mean, $12 free shipping right here. That would be a good one. No manual. Oh yeah, the manual's back there, I think. Hard to tell. Regardless, kind of yeah, that's definitely the manual back there. This is interesting. And the prices are all over the place, I guess. Nobody knows what to list a sealed one for, so you've got $50 here and $70 here. That's interesting. I think that is a good one. So you're getting some good games, some good information here. There's another Think Logic trainer. This one says kids on the end, and let's see how many this one has. We got 1, 2, 3. How many listings? Just 1. 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 CIB copies. So I don't know. We just like happened to stumble across some more rare-ish, uncommon games here, I guess. I mean, there's also the possibility that like somebody has a copy of this at home, or they're like at Goodwill, right? And you see Think Logic Trainer Kids, and you're like, that is going to be worth $0 and 0 cents. It is not going to be worth it for me to list on eBay. So maybe they're out there. Maybe somebody just needs to find out that they are uncommon so that people can start listing them. I have no idea. I think these are both worth your $10 or whatever it's going to cost to get these shipped to your house, or, you know, check your local stores, because these are not the most common games here. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you have Just Sing. This one is readily available sealed. This is a piece of garbage. Hang on, there's a microphone bundle. Whoa, that's a big box for a DS game. I did not see this earlier. That is interesting. Huh. Well, that's worth looking into if you're a big box collector, or if you just like variants. That's pretty neat. I'm assuming the game just used the DS's built-in mic. I'm not going to sit here and read this. That's interesting. I don't know what's going on with that big box, but that's kind of cool. Totally worth looking into. We're just stumbling across lots of cool stuff in this video. Just free information for the world. This one actually is garbage. You don't need Safari Adventures Africa, because this guy, multiple people have multiple sealed copies all day long. New old stock for days. We got Best of Tests on the DS. Did a quick search earlier, and it's looking like there's a plethora for $7, $8 all day. Nothing crazy to see here. 6 pages worth of results, which probably means like 2 pages worth of results. We're going to move on to the Wii. We've got Crazy Chicken Tales. Let's take a gander real quick. Looking like 20 copies. Maybe a little less, because it says 20 here, and some of these are European. But yeah, Crazy Chicken Tales, probably worthless, probably not worth your time. Kind of a lot listed. Monster Trucks Arenas Special Edition. Now, this is interesting. There's this game and another one where they said, hey, I'm just going to call this a Special Edition. You know, there was no Standard Edition, but, you know, if I put Special Edition and people see it on the GameStop store shelf, they're going to buy it. So, there's nothing special about this game. It's $7.88 free shipping. You don't need this. We're going to move on to the next game, which is Kokoto. Again, we've got Kart Racer this time on the Wii. Nothing special. I see this one at every game store I go to. I don't know who Kokoto is. I don't know why he's got a Magic Circus on the Wii as well. Also cheap. Also a plethora of copies listed. We're going to move on to the other special edition game here, Off-Road Extreme. They didn't call it Extreme with a capital X. Well, I guess it is a capital X. They didn't replace the E with an X, so good for them. Lots of copies listed. Cheap, common, garbage, don't need that. We got mini desktop. Nope. Did I not include it? Son of a gun. Anyways, mini desktop racing is another one. It's got the Mini Coopers. It's not even worth looking at. That's obviously why I didn't put it in here. We're gonna scoot on down to ski and shoot racing, or ski and shoot. Weird one that exists, and lots of copies. Worthless, garbage, trash. We've got America's Next Top Model. Worthless, garbage, trash with 1 million copies listed. Hang on, I think I went too fast. I feel like there's not 1 million copies. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a sealed case of 4, so we're going to call that 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty. There's like 20 copies or more. We're going to move on to Anubis 2, which I think is a puzzle game. It's probably shovelware garbage that you don't need. Cover art isn't terrible. I'm not going to lie. It's not horrible. Not the worst cover art we've seen today. You don't need that. We've got Billy the Wizard, and he's got that Spirits and Spells GameCube cover art type of art style, and that game is like $180. This one, dirt common, dirt cheap, dirt garbage. We're gonna move on. Counterforce on the Wii. I didn't actually get to look at this one. It's got a mech, but it's more like a Transformers mech, right? That's not that cool Japanese mech stuff right there. That's that typical garbage that you see, shovelware looking type of cover art. So naturally, there's 1 million copies. It's dirt cheap, dirt common. We're just getting through the Wii and DS stuff, and then it's gonna get back to being interesting, I promise. Mythmakers has a couple of games on the Wii. This one's called Super Kart GP, and it's Super Common GP. Then we have Trixie in Toyland. This is yet another common garbage Wii game. Myths and Makers, whatever the heck that is. We've got Ninja Breadman. For some reason, I was thinking this one was going to be expensive. It is not. It is very common, very cheap. I don't know if this was like a low-key a good game or something. I don't know why I've heard of this before. Now this one is interesting. I think this one has potential. Let me check my notes over here. Yeah, Octomania. How many copies do we have here? Less than 30. Let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so quite a few copies. Here's the problem. It has potential, but only because of this awesome cover art, right? Like this is some Japanese role-playing game type of cover that everybody's gonna fall in love with. You've pretty much got a cute little dragon here. You've got this little chocobo wannabe, and guess what? It's a freaking match 3 puzzle game nonsense. So it's cooked. Like, it is no longer interesting to anybody. They could have done any other genre, and this could have been a collectible game. But no, Octomania probably never going to be super valuable. Let's be real. Wii Firefighter, Real Heroes Firefighter, 1 million copies. You don't need it. We're not even going to give it any entertainment. We've got Winter Sports 1 and 2. Once again, 1 million copies. Here's Winter Sports 2 for you. We are cruising through this Wii section here. Rock and Roll Adventures, just probably the cheapest game we're going to look at. Look at this, $1 plus $5 shipping. Nobody wants this game. I don't know. We got to look at the back of this box at the very least. What the heck is this game? Elvis is his name. I don't know. Doesn't look horrible. Doesn't look terrible right off the 3 screenshots I've looked at. Moving on, we've got Safari Adventures again, also in Africa. Same continent, whether you're playing on DS or the Wii, and same level of garbage. We've got Enclave, the only PC game we're going to talk about today as we leave the Wii era here, Wii section here. This one, I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. I just wanted to include it because it was the only one that I could find that they actually published in America. Big box, or like, I guess this is called a PC small box for $22 shipped. I don't know anything about this game. Even cheaper here. It's available. There's a few copies if you are some Enclave super fan. I don't think this will ever go up in value. I don't think anyone will ever start to care unless there's an Enclave movie coming out that I don't know about. I don't know, guys. Let's get into the PlayStation here. The Amazing Virtual Sea Monkeys. I've always thought this was an interesting cover art. I don't know anything about this game. It's giving Echo the Dolphin. I don't know. What the heck am I looking at here? 70 levels of plush underwater environments. Loads of mini games, puzzles, and surprises. Pretty interesting cover art. I don't know. That's like almost should be rated T or M with the nudity here, but premium value product. That is crazy. Why did they put that on there? Who decided that that was a premium value product? And are there other games out there that say that? That's really funny. Quick scroll through. As you can see, there are a million copies of this game, and all of them say premium value product on them. Oh, there's a different cover art for the European. We gotta look at that. That's even worse. They are three-dimensional renders. I don't like it one bit. Yeah. Don't buy this. Definitely don't buy the European copy. Creatures. It's going to get interesting here. Creatures has a lot of copies on eBay. But Creatures has a sequel that doesn't have a lot of copies on eBay. And thankfully I own it. It's called Creatures Raised in Space. And I don't know why this game got a sequel. Also published by Conspiracy. It's $20, $13. This one says factory sealed. It's $50. We got $20. We got $40. About $20 there. Another one. This one says it's sealed, but it's from Europe, so who knows if it's actually North American. And that's it. So, like, less than 10 copies of this game. Let's check the solds real quick. I think this one's worth making it on your list. Because people are buying it for 15, 18, 13. Like, people are just buying this for dirt cheap. And I think it's kind of uncommon. I think it's a little bit scarce. Because you know the demand isn't there. You know people aren't buying this up. So, like, what we see here is what's out there. Moving on, we've got another PlayStation game here. It's called Rescue Copter. And that's all I have to say about this one. It is absolutely littered with copies on eBay. What is this? Marble Master. I didn't even get to look at this one. $9 free shipping and a million copies once again. Probably some kind of lousy puzzle game. Oh, wait a minute. We've got premium value product again. You love to see it. Good job, Conspiracy Entertainment. You made some premium value products. Moving on. Not premium, not valuable, just product here. We have another Tiny Toon Adventures game. This is Plucky's Big Adventure. And this, man, I love this cover art. Not to get distracted here. I saw this one earlier, but I couldn't include it because it's not published by Conspiracy. This one's way cooler than the one we're about to talk about. This is Plucky's Big Adventure. It's just Plucky with Buster in the background. I think he's on a freaking pyramid. What is he doing back there? Oh no, he's on a tower. Anyways, I'm getting real distracted here. This is a video game with a lot of copies on eBay, and it's very cheap. It's cool because it's Tiny Toon, but you don't need it. It's not uncommon, rare, expensive, none of the above. We're moving into PS2 here. Garfield Lasagna World Tour has a lot of copies listed, and that's the end of that one. We move on to Gadget Racers. So obviously the Coral Q series, and we've got a decent amount of North American copies listed. Not a ton, but probably 15 or 20. And it's going to cost you 20 bucks shipped if you're interested. Not crazy at all. They got that red beamer on the cover. Nothing really to say about that one. We've got Hidden Invasion, a game I had never in my life heard of, but alas, 1 million copies on eBay. We've got Biathlon, which I almost didn't include, 2008 for the PS2. I don't know, man. It's $5 free shipping. It's $6.25 free shipping. You get a sealed copy for $10. It's a sports snow game. Nobody wants it. I guess this is the sequel to Ski and Shoot, because I see a man skiing and I see 2 men shooting. Interesting combo there. We got Road Trip. So the GameCube had a Road Trip. The GBA had a Road Trip. They're all different titles. This one is called Everywhere Road Trip. But don't put Everywhere when you search for it, because it's so minuscule up here that people don't even know to include it in their title, as you can see. I don't know. It's KoroQ again. It is probably a good racing game. I have no idea. Looks like they're playing freaking Rocket League before Rocket League existed, so maybe it's historically important, guys. Get yourself the first appearance of Rocket League. We got $35, $30, $40. It is not the cheapest PS2 game, but it is certainly common. Seek and Destroy looks like your typical World War II shooter or something from this era, and there's a lot of copies listed. Oh, it is not at all an FPS. It is actually a tank game. Wow. Who knew? They put a tank on the cover art and they really meant it. Quick search says that there is a ton of freaking copies of this game. We're going to move on to the last PS2 game. Now this is another Treasuresoft game here. Stretch Panic is a very strange game. And I'm speaking from like what I've heard from people on Instagram and stuff. I don't know anything about this game except that it is developed by Treasure and you can like pull on body parts. Yeah. Look at that, another framed copy of a game. Why didn't you frame the manual in here? That would have been nice. This is a weird one, and because of that, and because it's developed by Treasure, it is a little bit pricey. There's a handful. I mean, there's plenty if you want a CIV copy. I don't know if it's worth $50. That's for you to decide, I guess. But there's plenty of options available for sure. And then we're on to the PSP. Now here's where things get really interesting. Things are, I mentioned at the beginning, we got a game that nobody knows about that is dirt cheap. And if you're watching this video early enough, you might get one on Mercari or eBay still. But the channel members have already seen this video, so they're probably already buying up the copies on eBay. Or you can go to your local game store and see if they have it. Not this one on the screen, it's going to be the next one. This one's also interesting because I think it is adult content put on a PSP UMD here. I'm not even going to show the back of it. I mean, I guess there's nothing crazy about the back. It just shows like women, clothed women, so there's nothing crazy going on here. But Dream Models is a UMD video. Like, I don't know if there's like anything that you can like do, or if it's just like a movie that you watch. I have no idea, but it's expensive and people know about it already. I think there were a handful of like adult UMD videos on the PSP, but I haven't done a lot of research or any research on that. But I did see this one, and it is published by Conspiracy Entertainment, which is funny. But this next one we're going to talk about here is under the radar, as far under the radar as something can be. It is Pool. It is Pocket Pool. How many listings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with this water graded one, and 6. Okay, and that's it. You go on Mercari, there's like 2, maybe 3 listed. Somebody knows that it's worth something because this one's $90. It's brand new. Or maybe they're just throwing stuff up because they can at whatever price they want. This one's $100 sealed. My point is, this is probably like the least common game that people don't know about that we've talked about in this whole video. It is interesting for sure. I haven't even looked at the back of the box. Let's take a gander, shall we? Yep, scantily clad women and pool. What more could you have asked for in the year 2007 Look at this boy Clark over here. He's playing pool and he's getting rewarded by pictures of models, I guess. Shoot pool against more than 10 different hotshots. Hustle pros like, what is that, Margot? In dive bars, honky tonks, mansions, and even yachts. So this is a weird one that probably sold garbage. Rack 'em and run the table. That is so funny. This game probably sold garbage. It's rated freaking M, so like literally your dad was buying it and nobody else. And because of that, there's no copies available. And I think that the 3 people out there who care about it are probably going to buy it after this video goes up. But yeah, for sure check your local game store because it's probably $5 or $10. And it's just one of those games where, like, if I go on price charting right now, I bet it says $10 shipped. Let's check the sold listings. $6.50 on auction, $23 plus shipping, $25, $23. Wow, there's a lot of people buying Pocket Pool on the Sony PlayStation Portable. Yeah, there's like 7 sold listings there. That's kind of funny. I mean, that's all I have to say. I think that is probably the find of this video. We are 54 minutes in. Holy crap, I've been talking a lot. That is for sure the best find of the video. We're going to move on to Ultimate Block Party. It's a game. It's probably a puzzle match 3 nonsense game. And it is not treasure, it is shovelware, and there's a million of them. And then we move on to Xbox 360. Now, everybody has heard of Autobahn Police because it popped off last year or the year before whenever the 360 store was closing. And because of that, it is not super cheap. And people want to play it, and it's apparently a good racing game, so they're all 100 plus or whatever. CIB, you can get one right now for $97.40. I don't know. I don't know anything about this game. I just know that it popped off. I didn't even know it was Conspiracy Entertainment, so that's pretty cool. No longer available on the Xbox digital storefront. Superbike World Championship, on the other hand, this one's hard to search for. If you're like watching this video, for some reason you're like, wow, I need that game. There's an X on the end of this one. And this is not the one. This is the one here. This was published by Conspiracy. And I put -X on here, and I searched Superbike, but even then, you're still going to find copies with the X. So let's count them up real quick, see how uncommon or common this game is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, looking pretty common. 10, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, there's plenty of copies of this game available. I don't think this is anything to write home about. That's it, SBK. Couple more games here, y'all. We have the last one for the 360, Winter Sports 2. This was one of the ones that we had on Wii, I think. And once again, a plethora of them. Nobody wants it. Yeah, lots and lots of copies available. And the last one we're going to talk about here is Rock of the Dead, which is not a very exciting one to end on. Maybe we should have ended on the PSP. But Rock of the Dead came out on Xbox 360 and PS3. Interestingly enough, it did not get published by Conspiracy on the 360 for some reason. I don't know what happened there. It's pretty interesting. I don't even know what this game is. Do you play with a guitar? Do you use the Guitar Hero guitar to play this game? Rock out with your guitar out. Grab your axe. Yeah, I mean, if it's like House of the Dead but with a guitar, that's pretty sweet. Oh yeah, it says you can play co-op and use your guitars and drums. Interesting. You got some Rob Zombie on there. That's it. I mean, that is like 60 plus games probably of Conspiracy Entertainments that we have talked about today. I appreciate you guys watching. So here's the deal. I think that you should definitely go get yourself a copy of that pool game if you care. I think that you should maybe keep an eye out for Tiny Toon games on the Game Boy Color. And I think that maybe go look at those Logic games on the DS. Let me figure out where that tab was. So we had Think Logic Trainer and Think Logic Trainer Kids, which are not the most common games apparently. Kind of surprising. I don't know. Let me know what you guys decide that you're going to buy from this video, if anything. I would love to hear about it. And if you would like to hear about this information, like I told you guys, the channel members have probably already heard about that pool game on PSP. It's because I'm going to go send them a message before I even release this video, and I'm also going to give them access to the video before everyone else. Those are just like some of the perks of being a $2 or $4 member of the Bird Dog Gaming channel membership, which you can do by probably clicking over there or over there on the YouTube page. But I appreciate you guys watching, I really do. I'm going to shout out the channel members right here. You guys are fantastic human beings. Thank you for donating every month and supporting me. Make sure to join the live streams. I'm streaming every week on YouTube, just about every week on Wednesday evenings. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this video up that came out to an hour long. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was fun. Let me know what publishers you would like to see in the future, or if you liked this video at all. Like, do I need to continue recording myself talking for an hour, talking about other publishers? I would love to know your feedback. But that's it. I'll see you guys next time right here on Bird Dog Gaming.